Hello, and today we're going to be looking at this Kindle Fire 7, I believe it is. I got this off eBay for a whopping £2.80 plus £3 postage. So yeah, £5.80 for this. The description was quite sparse and just says doesn't charge, won't turn on, which is fair enough. I think it's pretty common with these things that the battery over discharges and then just refuses to discharge. So I have a feeling it's going to be a case of taking the battery out and plugging in a independent charger, basically, just to force some charge into it, and then we'll be able to put it back together and turn it on. Fingers crossed. I've obviously already taken it out of its packaging. I just thought I'd give it a quick looking over first. The screen's a bit dirty there, but you can probably see from the light that there's some like light scratches on there. You can't feel them, but you can see them if you look at the right angle. Other than that, it's all right. It's not in bad condition. Some like residue on the back there. Don't mind my dirty hands. I've just been making on fire, so I've just got a bit of soot on my hands. I could probably do with washing that off, but I'll get around to that later. Yeah, so I've just given it a quick looking over. I've got one of these USB things for doing the USB charging. I was just making sure it wasn't going to trickle charge, so I've got this USB monitor thing. It's just one of these cheap things I've got in a drawer somewhere. I've got usual Chinese suppliers for a couple of pounds a few years ago. I've got a better one coming in the post, but this one's quite good. It just outputs the just displays the voltage and the milliamps or amps or whatever. So it's pretty basic, but it does the job. And also I've got it just hooked up to the bench power supply. I could put it in a USB output, but it's in the other room and I can't be able to swap the wires around and stuff, so this works fine. So I've just popped that on 5 volts and 0 milliamps. Obviously it's not plugged in yet, but I've already tried this and it feels quite loose in there, so I have a feeling it could be a case of changing that port as well. It could be that it's not charging because that. Where's that gone off? Oh, it's just a connection there. So it's dropped down to, yeah, there it is, 5 volts and 0 amps. Yeah, so it's definitely not taking a charge. Not sure why that's flitting around there. Anyway, so it's definitely not taking a charge, so it could be this port or it could be the battery, so we'll take it apart, have a look. Hopefully it'll be straightforward. I have a feeling this is going to be a pretty straightforward video. But we'll give it a look. I believe with these it's pretty easy to take apart. You can just run something along the edge there and it all just unclips. So we'll do that now. So I just fast forward through that. This is quite a good tip I learned a while ago, actually. Was rather than sliding your tool from side to side, if you sort of just roll it, it can cause less damage. If you push it from side to side, you can end up just digging into these plastics. There we go, easy peasy. Okay, so we've got this off here, so I want to undo these, that cover across the battery there, and see if we can get a reading off the battery. Okay, so it's not just a straight up connector, it's obviously got a bit of a... Looks like there's only 4 points on there, so I have a feeling 2 will be positive and 2 will be negative, maybe. So, oh, in fact, there it is marked on the board. It's positive. Yeah, 1 and just about to see it on the board. There's it again. Yep. So 1 and 3 positive, and 6 and 4 will probably be maybe the battery level reading. Okay, just bring the multimeter in here and carefully probe this battery. According to this, is absolutely 0, which might be possible. Now, looking at this, I'm not sure how to best attach this charger. I don't think that's going to be anything under there, is there? No, I think that's probably for the screen. So to best attach my charger, I'm not sure how to do it. Let's have a look at this USB port for now. Let's see if we're actually getting a charge off it. So they've labelled up there the board, just about there. I'm not sure what that is though. ID, DP, DM, VC, HG. Don't know. But I might just need a little bit of a squeeze. That might have just been wobbly because it was bent. But just squeeze up the metal there. It might just pinch the connector a little bit. Let's see. Oh, that's better. They're not perfect connectors. See if they're getting charged to the board. Wouldn't look as much, would it? I mean, it looks like it's going in all the way, but let's have a look at this port. It could be jammed. There's something in there. No. It's fairly clear to me. I mean, I'm assuming these are test points for that. But the thing is, even with that connected, I'm not getting anything on the screen at all. Like, there's not even a symbol to charge it, which you expect, I suppose, if there's 0 volts in the battery. A LiPo battery with 0 volts. Probably not the safest thing in the world, is it? Okay, we're going to take this board out, which looks like it'll be straightforward enough. There's a few screws. I have to undo these. I think these might just be stuck on. There's a speaker that's soldered on there, so we could just disconnect that for now. Not sure what this is connected to actually. I thought it was the screen, but I might be wrong. It seems a bit weird that the connector would be in the middle of the screen. It looks like it's going to the battery. Okay, just get the iron heated up and let's see if we can just get that connector off. In the meanwhile, I'll just whiz around and take these screws off. I've just desoldered that speaker for the time being. Just push them other wires out the way there. I've got these, and I think that's the power and the volume buttons. Just I'll say disconnected, removed from the case there. Just a bit of double-sided tape to put back on. Okay. It just looks like the camera was just got a little connector on there. Just disconnect that for the time being. Oh, it looks like you can put another, I guess that's external storage, little SD card reader or something. Didn't realise that was there. So I stick my spudger in there. Be careful of that one. Looks like it's being held down with this cable here, which has one of these ZIF connectors, but I'm not sure if this is, I'm assuming this is just stuck down with adhesive, because it doesn't look like it's very square, so I don't think it's a BGA connection there. I think this is just stuck down, maybe for a ground. I'll see if I can sort of tease it off or get a bit of heat on it maybe to hate using these. The history of them just twanging off and then being totally useless. Okay, it's not so bad. Let's see if I can get some under there and try to remove this. Maybe it's a Wi-Fi adapter or something. Wi-Fi. Not sure. Could be the touch for all I know, or the display, or probably should do a little bit of research on these before I start thinking around. There's probably a guide on how to do this, and I'm going to ruin it, but it's fine. I'm just going to put a bit of heat on there because I think it's just a bit of adhesive on there, and I think if I slip I'm going to end up slashing that ribbon cable and it's going to be a total wasted effort. So I had to wait for my hot air station to turn off because for some reason it's super loud. But yeah, it's just an adhesive pad there. It's a bit of heat took it off. Okay, let's proceed. Oh. I'm not sure what this is, but it's starting to damage on there. I'm not sure if that's damage or if that's just the tape coming away. We'll have to be careful on that one. That's the power, but just be gentle on that one, I guess. Oh, hang on. Not 100%. Oh, it's a contact. Just set it against those pins there. So I'm guessing if I have damage that way, it's not going to turn on by that button. Should probably test that now. I'll put it on a continuity test and see if that button is still registering. Why would they do that? Yeah, that works fine. I was curious if this is the original problem and I wouldn't charge because this port's damaged. I mean, it would seem that way. I've got this connector from an old project, so it's just a micro USB on this end and then the snipped wire on this end. So I'll be able to put it in there and hopefully test. I think it feels like a firm connection there, so I guess put continuity between that and these points down here. Okay, I've just remembered, as I was heating this up the last time I did this, I ended up just melting the entire inside of the connector. So what I'm going to do is try to use the desoldering pump to remove as much excess flux, to remove as much excess solder as possible. It's got some connectors on there. And I'm actually just getting to the point now where I'm considering putting the entire board in the ultrasonic cleaner, because I know that if I were to, I'm just really risking the chance of melting this connector and making it useless. But I'll see how much solder I get out with the desoldering pump on this and take it from there, basically. Okay, I appear to be getting nowhere fast with this. I've tried using the desoldering pump on those connectors there, on those ground posts, and I've not really made much progress in it. I've tried adding some leaded solder to it and then pumping it out. You can see there's still plenty of material in there, so I think what's going to happen is I'm just going to end up totally annihilating this connector. So I'm going to disconnect this camera while I can, and then I'm going to just put the whole thing into the ultrasonic cleaner, and then just make sure it's thoroughly dried off before I reconnect it or try to do anything with it. Okay, so that's been in the ultrasonic cleaner for I think it was about 15 minutes, which is just obviously doing its business. Hopefully it's cleaned out that and probably had a dirty headphone jack anywhere, as it tends to get quite dirty. So it's probably been good for it in general. I placed it in front of our fire for about half an hour as well, so it was really quite warm, quite hot in fact, by the time I came back to it. So I think that's driven a lot of the moisture out. If not, then I'm going to find out the hard way that was not a thorough drying method. Nonetheless, let's have a look at this via the continuity test. Let's see if we are any further forward with this. Nope. How can that be 0? Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and try and connect this non-working USB lead in. Still feels a little bit loose. So we just pinch the connector a little bit. Maybe a bit too much. All positive. Stick it across there. Still getting nothing. I'll stop that lead just in case. I don't know. I'm not getting very far with this, am I? Not at all. Tell you what, I'm gonna take the fiberglass pen, and I'm just gonna try and work it around there, just in case it's, just in case those pads are, I don't know. Just kind of running out of ideas. This seems so basic, but I'm not getting very far with it all, and it's not really making much sense. This connector has given me so much doubt. So I'll get that fiberglass pen and I'll just try and clean off that area a bit and see if it will reveal anything interesting. So what I thought I'd just do there is to test by putting it into continuity and putting it across the voltage in and ground pin there, just to make sure there wasn't a short, which I suppose would explain why there might be 0 voltage if there was some sort of circuit protection. But there doesn't seem to be anything of the sort there. So just between those 2 pins, there's a note there. Those are the data pins, I believe. So there's nothing in the way of a short between the voltage in and ground, which is good, which I suppose rules out anything like that. But I just can't seem to figure out it's showing us 0.03 there, which is obviously not right. Maybe it's just a wobbly connection. Let's try it. Let's try. Hang on. Okay, this might be a problem. Yeah. Okay, so it looks as though it's actually just a bad connection. It's a bad socket there. So there's a lot of wiggle room there, and it looks as though if you get just the right angle, it's actually charging. So it looks like there's quite a lot of movement on there. I don't think there's much I can do on that without actually just replacing it. Oh, hang on, saying that, if you look here, see if we can zoom in a bit. See these connectors where it's, so these cutouts here, that's where it's connected in with those teeth, you see that? If I pop that in there, they look like they're worn a bit. So I don't think that's normal. Maybe if I flatten them down a little bit, and then it'll just make it so it's got a little bit something to hang on to. Okay, because I think there's going to be so much doubt over that connector forever, and that's just I've just managed to flatten down those a little bit to try and give it a little bit of something to hang on to, but that's not going to be a lasting fix, is it? That metal has already been fatigued, so it's probably just going to take one or two connections in and out, and it's just going to go back to being curled up a bit. So I'm just going to do a quick eBay look and see if I can get one of these for cheap. I believe, well, I'm definitely going to get one because it's going to be a very common part. But if I can get one for £1 or £2, then I'll just order one up. Okay, sure enough, you can buy them in volume for about 50p each, but I got two for it was about £1.60, so I've just ordered some of those up, and they'll probably take about a week or so to arrive. It's the 23rd of December today, so chances are I'm not going to receive them probably until closer to the end of the, probably closer to the new year. So I think what I'm going to do in the meanwhile is just bypass them a little bit, maybe solder some wires onto it for the time being, and then I can just use the bench power supply to put 5 volts into it. I'll do that. Hang on. So the battery is 2.62. So the nominal voltage should be 3.7 volts. So that's obviously way too low. So this may be a way of just forcing some charge into that battery. Actually, it's just to solder some points onto there, because this seems to be pretty much directly on with there. Connected to the battery there. If I put my battery charger directly on these pins here, that could be a way of just forcing some charge into it, really. And this is annoying. Why is that? Hang on. How odd. My bench power supply is saying 5 volts, yet that is reading as 1.4 volts. Let me just disconnect these. Disconnect these. And ground. Yeah, 5. But when you connect it to here, the voltage drops right down to 1. It's not great, is it? What does that mean? Did 1? It's not a short, is it? Oh, why is that dropping to 3 now? Let me try disconnecting the battery first, and then, I mean, it's not showing us drawing any voltage, any amperage, sorry. Let's see what the meter says. It's AC, sorry. So I just put a meter in here. This reckons that it is drawing 30 milliamps. Is that right? 30? 30, 300, 3? Let's try to turn that down to 200 milliamps. 0.3. 0.3. Doesn't seem right. So practically nothing then. So I'm just going to try turn this off and then try to disconnect the battery and then just see if it comes up with anything interesting then. So it's shown as 20 milliamps apparently. Swap the leads back over. Check the voltage. It's there. So it's 4.4 there, which is not quite right. I mean, my power supply might be off, might not be quite calibrated, which is shown as 5.2. I'll just twitch that up a little bit, just in case that's wrong. Okay, it's on 5.3. I might just need to calibrate my power supply a little bit. What? It's now showing an output voltage of 1.9. How does that work? DC? 2 volts? Hey? Let me just calibrate this power supply. No, that's right. Whoa. What is going on? Brilliant. So this is a perfect time to find out that my bench power supply seems to be on the fritz. So it's outputting apparently 11.7, which is coming up right now. But it's a 9. That is now 9 apparently, which is pretty close. Happy with that. 8, yeah. 7, 6, it's a little bit out. 5, it's about right. So I'll leave it on, put up to 5. Oops. 5.1, 5.2. Yep. Okay. Not exactly great. How can you find anything if you can't even trust your own equipment? Okay. I don't know. There must be something going on the board that's making it drop the voltage for some reason. But why it's not reflecting on the power supply, I don't know. Okay, so what I'm going to try and do now is actually just got one of these charging boards. So I'm going to try and solder that directly to these pads and hope for the best, basically. I'm just not 100% sure I got those pads right on there. And the fact that it was dropping down to like 2 volts when I was connecting it, very odd. So if I can get some voltage into this battery, some charge into this battery, then Maybe I can get it to turn on then if I get the battery voltage up. Let me plug this into here. So, I don't know if you can tell. You can see the red lights come on there. Just bring that zoom out a bit. Two 295, 296. Yep, there you go, 297. So that's just going to creep up now. So I'm just going to leave that running for, I don't know, 20-30 minutes. Keep checking back on it to make sure nothing's getting too hot or anything like that. And then we'll come back and check the voltage in a little bit. Oh, this has been on for charging for a while now. Let's see what we're up to. Yep, 4.05 volts. So let's see if we can just disconnect that. And let's see if it turns on now. Hey, what have we got here? It's alive. Please don't have a pin number. Once we get it turned on, then hopefully it'll recognize the USB going in, and then we'll probably see that it's got a bit of a wobble to it. That takes a while, doesn't it? Switching to Darcy Lee, whoever that is. Let's turn the light off. How do you use these? Okay. See if it recognizes a charge. Yeah, it's very temperamental. Yeah, that part is broken, so for the time being, this is our new charging port. But can you do anything with it? Is there anything that can be done? Ah, oh, pin number. Ah. Okay, the back camera works. I'm able to connect to the camera. I didn't connect it back up. Okay. Let's see what this looks like. Not the worst camera in the world. Sure, there's more to it than this, right? Okay, let's see if we can get this. Let's see if we can get this connected to. Oh wait, no. I might see if I can email the seller and see if they can provide me with a pin so I can maybe at least. I mean, unless there's a factory reset button, somewhere, or some sort of combination. Oh, there'd be like a safe mode, won't there? Let's see if we can get into safe mode. It's just based on like Android, isn't it? Okay, let's see if we can turn this off. Let's see if there's a. Let's see if we can guess it. Volume up and power. Although I'm not going to bother guessing because that took so long to turn on. I really fancy having to go through that again. Back in a second. Okay, so it looks like it's actually down, and volume down and power. That's pretty close. See if we can. Really with this. Volume, I'm assuming that's volume down. And power. Oh, I don't know if I was. Oh, there we go. Excellent. Reboot system. Nope. I'm assuming you press those over there. That what we want. We want wipe data / factory reset. Yeah. Yep. And wipe. And I assume you just tap the reset, the power button for that. Delete all. Oh, okay then. Okay, now it's finished turning back on. Let's see. Yep, so we'll just go through the setup. And connect to Wi-Fi. Probably going to do is collect all the parts together. I say all the parts, the back plastic, put them together, the camera and whatnot, and just stick them together in a box. When the new micro USB port arrives, I'll continue and finish the end of this video. So what do you know? Very next day, December the 24th, here we are with new micro USB sockets. Very happy with that. Thank you very much, random eBay seller and Royal Mail. Right, so we are going to take this all back apart and try to desolder that. And I will heat up my iron and we will undoubtedly fast forward through this sequence. So that took a little bit longer than I expected. I think I found a bit more flexibility in angle and prevention of damaging the table by putting it in my little board vice clamp, whatever it's called. So yeah, that looks okay. I'm not sure 100% on the pins. I'm gonna get the microscope out and just double check those pins and see where we are with those. But I did tin the pads and the pins, so hopefully the hot air has just flowed those together and we'll be on our way. Otherwise I'm a bit stuck. Okay. So it looks like we got 4 out of 5. Looks as though this pin contact. I can see the floor of each of these, but I believe that's the ground pin, so even if I didn't get that one perfectly, it's still, the whole thing is still grounded. I'm not quite sure what the middle three are. 2 of them will be data, but I can't remember the micro USB ones. I'll see if I can get my small tip out and wedge it in there, but that is a really small gap. I wonder if hot air is probably the best way to go for it. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like it is making contact. 1, 2, 3, 4 blobs, and then that one I must have just totally missed it apparently. I did have some problem with this ground thing here, so I ended up getting the wick on, so I might have accidentally taken too much off on that one. But if you look, that's really zoomed in because of that. So I'm going to zoom in on the phone. I don't know if I'll get an iron in there, to be honest. Not even my finest tip. Let's have a look. No. We'll just try it, I guess. See how it gets on. I'm not 100% happy, but so I'll try and tidy it up as best as I can with the IPA. And then I'll plug it in. Give it a go. Tell you what, I forgot to put the front facing camera back on. I'll do it now, so I don't have to take it apart again. Oh, no. Oh, I've gone this far without damaging these connectors. I'm not starting now. Come on. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it like that, and then it doesn't need to, I don't think it needs to come off again, unless I need to heat this up then. So I'm just going to stick a bit of Captain tape over it and hope for the best. I mean, I wouldn't be too devastated if it didn't work. I have no intention of using it for the front facing camera. Something for the kids, so I'll spare something or another. But that's just a bit of fun, isn't it? I wouldn't really be too upset if it didn't work at all. Where have I put that tape? Yeah, it's good enough for me. Hopefully any vibrations won't knock it loose. It's mostly in that connector and it's just started coming off a bit there, so last thing I need is it failing. Excellent. I wasn't sure if that power button was going to work because I didn't line it up, but thankfully it's seated itself. Oh, now there's power up, and then I need to do the speaker wire up still. Let's move that out of the way so it doesn't cause any issues. Let's see if it charges, shall we? No. No. God, this is a nightmare. What? My home screen and advert. Right. Okie doke. How intrusive. Okay, so let's see. What do you think? Place your bets. Is it going to charge, or is it going to turn off and die? Or am I going to be able to plug it in? It's a bit tight, I think. I think I might have melted it a little bit. I'm trying to get it in. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can get a plastic tool in there to try and just bend it up. See the plastic insert thing, I've just bent it down. I think I touched it with the tweezers while the hot air was on it. Never ends. There we go. Let's try again, shall we? Place your bets. Ooh, chargy. Excellent, right. I'm happy with that. Let's see if we can, I need to put in fact I need to put it back together altogether. I need to put the screws in. I need to reconnect the, speaker wires and put the back case back on. Let's see if we can whiz through that now. Also, get rid of all this bloatware as well, just clean it up a bit. Okay, before I clip it all back together again, I'm just going to make sure that it turns back on, just in case I've done something stupid. Oh, and we've got sound as well. Let's clean this kit. Let's clean this case up while this turns on. And back on charge. Nice. And there's a lot of bloatware on here, isn't there? I mean, I know it's a branded Amazon tablet, but they do put a lot of, I mean, look at the, how do you get back? As the lock screen. Look at this. There's got to be a way to change that. Let's see if we can. Oh, no, so there's a problem there with the front-facing camera. Interesting. Well, I'm not bothered, to be honest. I'm not too fussed about that. It'll be a slightly... Was that the one I soldered? It was, wasn't it? No, so the one next to it was the one with the ZIF connector. You know, okay, I'm not too bothered about that. It's annoying, but it's not the end of the world. Just trying to set something as a lock screen. Can I set as a wallpaper for the lock screen? Wow, that's annoying. Oh, I'm going to do a bit of looking up and see how we get rid of this, because that's out of principle. That's unacceptable for me. Okay, so I've gone away and had a look at this, and apparently the only way to remove these adverts from the lock screen is to use a Google service. Basically, that anyone that knows about it, it's that basically you have to remote into it using ADB, and then going in and uninstalling the services that download adverts in the background. So there's no way out the box to do it this easy, which is absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, it's a task for another day. I haven't got I don't think this wire works, but I tried doing it on my computer and it's listing as no devices found. So I think I'll try another cable when I come across one. Anyway, so I think this has been a success story, really. I mean, at the end of the day, it boiled down to someone has damaged the USB socket, and it's caused the battery to flatten down, and then they've not been able to recharge it, and then obviously it's gone down to 0%, and then it's probably been shoved in a drawer for some amount of time, which has caused the battery to over discharge, which means they couldn't turn it on. So yeah, I've just resolved it by forcing charge into the battery and replacing the USB port, which worked out alright. So all in all, it's only cost me about £4 for it. What was it, £2? We'll call it about £7 actually, including delivery and the port. So not a bad one actually, really, is it? So let's call that the end of the video. If you enjoyed this, they've got a few more on the way, so feel free to do the old subscribe and whatnot. I'll try to edit this down as short as possible. I've been on this for a couple of hours, just messing around with bits. So, but yeah. So if you enjoyed it, then look at maybe subscribing, and I'll see you in another video where I've got some in the works. I've got this Sony camcorder thing on the go at the moment as well. That's going to be another one, hopefully, if I get that one back together and finished. And there's another one, I've got a Sonos speaker that's half done at the moment, just waiting apart from China, so that one's nearly done. So yeah, okay, before I ramble on too much, I will see you later.